Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing very well today. We've had another great week in crypto. Ethereum has made its big base breakout. Bitcoin is on the verge of breaking out, and silver has made a brilliant move. Let's have a look at what else we can do. Here's the total market cap on the weekly time frame, and you can see how significant this weekly candle is. All I can say is congratulations if you have been following along the reviews and you have been able to take advantage of the information that is being given to you. But what we've done is we've closed above this big weekly block right here. I had spoken about this as being pretty significant resistance, though we did close right below the wick. But nonetheless, what we have done is the body has closed above the body, which is signifying the strength in the market right now. And another very significant thing that I want to speak about is this base of BTC that we have formed since last year. So this is a 1 year base, but this base that has been formed on BTC. So very clean base, and you can see strong rejection, even stronger rejection. Now we are just trading into it. So this 1 year base is going to be broken quite soon. Considering the price action, I would say that BTC is ready to do this. BTC is ready to build its move. The structure is ripe, the fundamentals are ripe, so everything is in place for this big base to get taken out. What targets do we have? I think people are getting ahead of themselves. Like I said before, we do have to take it one level at a time, and the first target is still, you can see how significant this level is, this 320 weekly level from here, right? So this is what built a very big move to the downside in 2018. So this weekly level, this weekly block is still very significant, and I would say if people are imagining that we can just blast right through it, I mean, it is still possible, but what I would say is you cannot assume that. So what you should assume is that you do have an understanding of levels, and you should take everything one level at a time. So on the weekly, this is still a very significant level. These wicks up here all the way till about 330. So that should be the first target of this breakout of the base. And speaking about bases, what we can look at is also a much bigger base. This huge double bottom that we may be forming. So this is this is longer than 2 years. So in crypto, that's decades. So this is again going to be very significant. So what I would say is this 380 level, and basically this weekly block right here, it is going to start to give some kind of resistance as well. So a breakout of this will really shift everything. But essentially what we are doing right now is a paradigm shift as well in crypto. This is not small. I mean, what we've done is we have very gradually built structures and moved up. This is not a one-time straight up green candle. This is a structure and a move, and a structure and a move. So it's very significant the way this market is moving. It is a long-term trend. It is shifting from being in this long downtrend since 2018. It is shifting away from the grasps of it and finally trending. Altcoins are trending. Alts against BTC are trending. BTC USD is trending. Just getting an alert for silver. Apologies for that. I am trading it, a few assets as we speak. So, but nonetheless, the thing is that we do have quite strong trends across the board. So what I would say is that ride these trends and try to make the most of it, because there is big opportunities across the board. And as long as you keep watching the reviews, I will try my best to understand what is going on in the market, because even when we do have trends, we do have a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of dynamics that are in play. We will talk about some of them in today's review as well. So this is what we are looking at for the total market cap. There is a consolidation right at resistance right now. If we go on lower time frames, we can go to the 4 hour, or let's go to the hourly. So you can see on the hourly, on the total market cap, we have broken up above the quarterly level, and we're consolidating right above it. So what I would show you on a lower time frame would be better on BTC. So for now, I mean, this is just a consolidation at resistance, and price is waiting for a significant move out of here. So I think it's a bit dangerous to be going long right here, because of a lot of the dynamics, the funding, the way the move has happened. There's a lot of complications, but again, BTC is the one now that is going to be driving the moves. So a more concise and clearer game plan we will come up with when we look at BTC. So looking at the altcoin market cap, what we had done last week and what I was showing you is that we had flipped this big monthly level into support. And what we have done over the previous week, we've made great progress, all thanks to Ethereum. And you can see that the move that we had made in February and the rejection we had got, we have consumed it with this weekly candle. We have closed above the half yearly level, which is so significant. Currently we are testing it as support. So there has been so much progress for altcoins since May. Since BTC has been going sideways since the end of April, alts have made big progress. Their price points have heavily advanced into places where they are challenging and forming higher time frame trends. So I did mention it before as well. And in fact, let's quickly look at the ADX. So the ADX on the weekly, you can see it is we've had a positive DMI breakout above 25, and the ADX has moved above 25 as well. So this is basically signifying the strength of a higher time frame trend, guys. Okay, we did have it in 2019. We had something that was not as sustainable, but you can see that a higher time frame trend line has been broken. This is something that I had mentioned. I think about three weeks ago, while we were still somewhere around the 80 to 90 billion range. And this is what I was mentioning was the potential for altcoin market cap, because this is so clean. So we have broken this downtrend. We have made a 25 above DMI positive high, and ADX has moved above 25 as well. So after a long time, I think cryptocurrencies are moving into this kind of a market condition. And what I would say is, nothing trends like crypto, so you should be trying to make the most of it, because it has been a long time coming. This has been a long drawn out consolidation. So price is finally wanting to move above it. Here you can see another big breakout that we've had from this trend line that has been holding us down. And this is a big impulse. This is a proper impulse out of this trend line. If you want to look at a technical target, we should be looking at potentially quite a big move up from here. Yeah, so that's about 186 billion, which lines up with this weekly level up here. So this is quite significant for odds against USD as well. So currently for total market cap, that's what it is. We're consolidating above the half yearly level for the odd coins. But I am going to go to BTC, and what we need to monitor, what is currently been happening over the last day, is something that I will be showing you. This is the significant chart that I wanted to get to when I was mentioning total market cap and the altcoin market cap. It's basically odds against BTC, and you can see that as soon as BTC has gotten impulsive yesterday, odds against BTC are now starting to take a hit. We've had two impulses and we've had two strong moves down. There was an early hint of it, because what you should know is that a lot of times mid caps and small caps, they react before large caps do, and you can see that small caps did top out first, and even mid caps, so they hinted this about 4 days ago already, that they had lost correlation with BTC USD, and essentially this move on the large caps was largely driven by Ethereum, though there were other large caps that followed as well. So this was what was significant, and this weakness in mid caps was suggesting that BTC is now ready to make its big move. And essentially, I mean, this is just all the money moving into BTC, guys, in anticipation of this move that BTC is near the edge of. So for now, I think this is very important, and this is something that should be analyzed and watched consistently. Once BTC does end up making its entire move, and the correction that comes after, if there is another reconsolidation, I think these trends on odds against BTC will stabilize and they will carry on. So that is something that should be kept in mind, that after BTC has moved and BTC builds a reconsolidation, all BTCs would still be a good play. So here we have it for Bitcoin. It's a brilliant weekly candle, pretty decent volume as well, though we haven't breached the 60-day volume, essentially because the bottom and this entire spike, it really moved this up. But we've had at least over the last since this year we've had a significant bullish candle after this consolidation on volume. So we've closed above 9800. You can see that all the weeks previously they were just getting rejected hard at this point. So we have closed above it. We've closed into this daily block on BTC right here, and this week we've just basically begun it with a straight move up, so where we are right now is the big resistance. Everybody has been speaking about it. Essentially it is this 10,500 level. So this 10,500 level, which has held us down once, twice, thrice. And you can just this is something I had spoken about before, but just judge the strength in terms of the reaction that we have gotten from the resistance. So you can see quite a strong reaction. You can see this reaction was incredibly strong. And the third test that we had, on a higher time frame, this is the weekly, you can see this is basically the weakest reaction that we had from this resistance. This was another good suggestion of strength for this market. That there was a lot of bearish people in this consolidation, and I had told you about the signs that were pointing to the potential of a higher probability. In the end, in trading, there are no certainties, so I could not have said that for certain that we are going to do this, but there were a lot of signs that were showing that there was a higher probability that this resolves to the upside. and you have been hearing me say this for at least over the last month, or I would say a little longer than a month, that you have been hearing me say that. And this was another one of the reasons that I had for this. Look at the reaction that we got from these resistances. The last one was the most bullish. So let's go down to the daily. So on the daily, at the end of last week, this is what I was mentioning. We needed a candle that was bullish, and it was going to close above the 60-day average. I built the review on the 21st, and it is on the 21st itself that we got this. So we had a bullish Chuvasho fork with a candle breaking on high volume. So this was great. Essentially, first, this was the plan to manage risk from here. But if you are on the Discord, I did say that you should be managing risk, and this was another great entry. I did give this entry on the Discord as well, the 94.50 level. So we got that entry, a very good reaction from there, and essentially now we are consolidating right at resistance. So if we look at it, let's look at it on the 4-hour. So 4 hours bit more interesting and a bit more intriguing. So the thing is, we've had a really big move. We built a very small consolidation. Essentially what's happened right now, guys, is that if quickly I'll just go to the daily to show you what has happened. So on the daily time frame, this 9800 high was the high that made the low, right? So what we needed was a bullish break in market structure. Once we do get a bullish break in market structure, there's a lot of algorithms that are looking for something like this, because this is a clear break in market structure, long drawn consolidation, lower highs and lower lows, and now we have a higher high. And what I had spoken about in the Discord yesterday was that once we do break this 9800 level, there's going to be a significant reaction and significant buying, and we have gotten that. So we got a very strong spike up all the way to, it was essentially 10 to 100 on the margin exchanges, and then we got a retest of this 9800 level, which was a re-entry, because I was talking about potentially another move up before some kind of reflection of what price would do, because there's too many people who would be shorting, and also there was too many people looking for this comfortable entry down here. Now what you know about Bitcoin is it's not going to give you a free lunch. You did not get in, then it's going to make it hard for you to get in, because the thing is that what you have to understand is that this is essentially the beginning of something really big, and once that is happening, you don't get it easy, guys. Because the thing is that there's a lot of algorithms, there's a lot of big money trying to front run each other. There's a lot of big money that has been patient. Traditional markets have also been watching Bitcoin now. You do know it is on their radar, and I do know that a lot of traditional market players got into Ethereum, and they have been looking at Bitcoin as well. And what I want to show you what price was doing, just quickly on the 1 hour, I will show you. And the thing is, guys, you have to shift and move with the market. All right, this is not a 2015, this is not a 2014 market. This is not now there's a lot of big players in this market. So the algorithms are going to be more advanced, things are going to be different. So if you think you're just going to be able to hack this market knowing what you did before, I think you're mistaken. You will have to evolve and change your strategies, and you will have to know and understand more about what is going on and how price works and how to work with price. So you can see how this move transpired. So we had a rising channel, we broke above it, and we started building a more aggressive channel. We broke above it, retested the top of the channel as support, we held it and made another impulse. So this is just Bitcoin meaning business, and all this while this impulse is the one where all large caps also got hit pretty hard, and this is basically where the small caps and mid caps started getting hit hard as well. So the smart money already knew that the price is moving in a very bullish way, and it's already time to scale out of alt BTC pairs to start to look at Bitcoin. This is what it was, and this is how significant it was. So what you can see right now is another channel that we have. This is from before, and what you should know is to always leave your channels up. Once you draw channels, once you see price respecting them very well, and you should definitely leave your channels up. And essentially what we should be looking at, I'll just show you something on the daily and the weekly for price targets. So this is Bitcoin's base. Like the total market cap, Bitcoin's base is slightly cleaner, and what I can give you is the target for this Bitcoin base. This is the 1 year base on BTC. So now BTC analysis, and you can see I'm spending a little bit less time on analysis, guys, because we've done the hard work. The hard work is already done. So the price target for this base is about 16,500, which matches up pretty well with close to this weekly level up here. But you can see this big weekly resistance, 17,200. This is the target for this base on BTC. This essentially 16,500, 16,600 level coincides with this big weekly level. So another base that I can show you is a much bigger one. This is the 2 year base. So I'm just going to hide these so that we can look at the bigger base as well that Bitcoin is forming right now. This base would begin to manifest slightly later. So this is the second base for BTC, and it is 13,800, 13,880. This is the big level on a break of which this base will manifest. And the targets we have for this, it goes beyond all-time high to, I would say, about 24,000 to 25,000. So finally we are in that phase where we're not talking about ranges, we are not talking about where to buy the dip. All of that has been done. This review part of it, I'm just talking about targets because you should understand that price and everything else about price is reflecting that we are ready to make that big move. Bitcoin has done its hard work. It has been a long 3-year consolidation. It's basically 2.5 years where price has done what it has to, and a lot of metrics are now reflecting that this will potentially begin a trend where at least we have 2 significant technical targets. Beyond that, we have to see what price can do. On a lower time frame, I'm not sure what would happen by the time the review is done, but what I can see on a lower time frame is that we are consolidating right below resistance, and what we have is this 10,500 level. This 10,500 level, I think, is going to have a lot of breakout stops for longs up here. So what I am currently planning for on the shorter time frame is for price to come up and take this out and at least create one fake out, at least one fake breakout, and come back down, maybe take out stops of this consolidation, but eventually move up. Too much lower I cannot see right now price going, unless we start losing this 9,800 level. If we start losing 9,800 on a higher time frame closing basis, that would be slightly concerning considering how price is evolving right now. But until then, what I would say is, yeah, there is a potential of one, maybe a false breakout. But beyond that, I think at least this quarterly level 10 10780, I think it was 10880, but maybe that's just BitMEX, and this is an index. So this 10880 should be the target once we do end up building this consolidation and taking it out. If you have been in the Discord, this is essentially where the target I gave for the rebuy of this move up. For now, I think this is quite dangerous. Buying up here, funding is pretty high, and there is always a potential of spikes. So if you are over leveraged, this is the time when BTC gets dangerous for people who are over leveraged. So what you're supposed to do is buy the dip, guys. You're not supposed to be buying into resistance or getting FOMO, and have this plan. We had this plan for BTC to we've been trying to buy it on every test of support that we have found, and review after review we have been doing that. So these are the places you needed to be accumulating, because there was very strong points of negation. Like a break of this daily block was a very strong point of negation. So this is where you should have been looking for your higher time frame swing trades. I don't think this is a place to be doing that. There is not much structure, there is nothing much to build that out of. It is very easy for price to wick up and down, or either way, just to take out the over anxious and over eager participants. So currently, for BTC, there is a consolidation. I've given you the higher time frame targets. What I would say is to not get overly caught up. Still take things level to level, because the market is maturing. If you're just looking for price to do this, it is still possible, but you need to be trading these levels. So this is the next big level after 10800. And what I would say is allow this level to be taken out. Once we do take it, this 10800 is there. I would say it's slightly weaker, but this would be the next significant level. 11700, I would definitely be taking profits here and looking for further structure to build out, so that we can trade this higher. So still be prudent, but don't sell everything, because in the end it is Bitcoin. A lot of times it leaves people high and dry. So people will say it's been a long consolidation and we'll just smash straight to 18k. Maybe it can happen, but you have to take profits on the way. They are big resistance levels, and what I would say is that there is a strategy for you that you end up taking profits. And what you want to do is that if price does still end up breaking through and testing this level as support, you can compound back and jump back in. But you don't want to be that guy who didn't end up taking profits here. This was a quarterly level. Anyone should have been taking profits here, and you did not. And everyone who did not, they had to face all of this. So you rolled all of this, move up here, took no profits up here, and you had to face another year of consolidation. So just remember that yes, the dynamics have shifted, but it is still prudent to find strong levels. 11700 is the next big strong level for me, which is possible for VIX to 12 300. But this is the next big level where there is potential that I see that we may build another structure to build a further move up. But this is the starting of a big trend, guys. So just know that we have targets for that now. Go take a quick look at Bitcoin against the Nasdaq, and why I'm taking a look at it is to show you and to tell you that it is how important it is to understand the relative aspect of each asset and to not just chart it according to the dollar. We could time the move on BTC, time its reversal from a long drawn range just by this Bitcoin against Nasdaq ratio. While it was dropping, I had mentioned that once it gets close to the yearly open, this is basically a monthly pivot support, where we are. I haven't activated it, so I'm not showing it to you. But anyway, what I had mentioned is that once it finds support is when Bitcoin is going to start to make its move. And the confirmation that we were looking for was the break in market structure. So you got that confirmation 4 days ago. So look at the price of Bitcoin 4 days ago and look at where it is right now. So you had this information which you could extrapolate from other places on Bitcoin, because against the dollar, because there's a lot of algorithms trading that ratio, there was a lot of people that had confusion about what is happening with Bitcoin. So that is the reason I just quickly wanted to show you this chart, so that you understand how important it is to keep this relative aspect of charting, and use it to the best of its potential. You can see there's still some room to go for the big monthly level on Bitcoin against Nasdaq. How far up is it? Another 8 to 10%. So I think essentially looking at that 11,500, 11,700 level is what should give that reaction to this base on Bitcoin against Nasdaq. So very interested to see what happens once we do get here. But for now, trending really hard. It has decorrelated, and we have to keep this also in mind, because there's something significant in traditional markets which I'll be speaking about later. So the correlation needs to be kept in mind, and for now it's decoupled. Bitcoin is doing its own thing, and it's moving more like the gold and silver. Today, our traditional market analysis, rather than the indices, I am starting with the dollar, because essentially I would say that for the traditional markets right now, the dollar is all that is needed to be charted. So last week I did tell you that we'd broken below the VWAP, tested it as resistance. You can see the big reaction that we got from it. Congratulations if you were actionable on this information. So currently we are headed towards an important level on the dollar. So what you want to see is that the dollar had been building out this base, and we broke up above it, but essentially it started basing up from this move, after this move, from this level right here where it is very close to reaching, and this is the move it built out of it, the move up and now the move back. So I would say it's very significant. We have two very significant levels. So there's one of the two scenarios, and we will have to see once a price gets here which one is going to manifest, because the lower quarterly level is much more significant in terms of its touches. You can see how significant this support level is, this lower quarterly level. The higher level on dollar is slightly less significant, so I am not 100% on it that this is going to be the one that will give us a reaction. But why I'm saying that is because of the timing that we have in the markets right now. We have everything, like we have the metals absolutely like surging. We have earnings which are very close, which are this week has some massive earnings. If you do not watch that, please do, because if you trade traditional markets, it is going to be very significant. This week is going to be very significant with a lot of volatility and a lot of definition in direction. So what I feel is probable is that the dollar ends up getting a reaction from this quarterly level and giving us a big impulse from it, possibly all the way back to this VWAP, and essentially this will create weakness in equities. This will create weakness in commodities as well, including your gold and silver, because both have made really big moves. We'll get to the metals later, but what I would say is that approaching a big support level after a really strong move, very close to a big fundamental event. This quarter's earnings, I'm not expecting them to be good considering what has happened with the virus over the last couple of months. So I think this is going to be the quarter where we get some kind of a correction on traditional markets, because this move has been long and strong. All the way since March, everything has just been trending. Tech stocks have been trending, biotech has been trending hard. So I think this is August is going to be the month where we get that slight correction. I mean, if people are looking at going all the way back to the bottom, that's the reason I'm saying slight correction. But in terms of the market context is what I mean. And also it lines up, another confluence we have for this is the seasonality. July was to be the month which generally does start to give sideways or slightly downwards grinding price action. This July has not been the same. This year has not been the same, so we cannot say the same things. But nonetheless, seasonality is also supporting this analysis. So just keep that in mind. Watch for these levels on the dollar. If not this, then maybe it's a sharper move which continues all the way down to this level. But this is definitely a level where I think there is a very good probability of a reaction on the dollar. So it's going to be one of these two levels. Keep your eyes open and let's time another good move on the traditional markets. We're looking at the SPX. We were very close to this big weekly resistance. This is basically the last highs before we made that big impulse down. This was a big weekly level, and we made a divergence. Got quite a decent reaction from it. We lost the VWAP from the first impulse. From the lower impulse, the VWAP is yet to be tested. This VWAP, we've turned it into resistance, but also most importantly, we are somewhat following the analog that I had been sharing over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I had been sharing this in the Discord, but I have also shared it in the previous weekly reviews. That shapes up for price making new highs, but coming all the way back down and testing 3,000, 2,900 again. I would say if the market is really weak, we could still get a test of 2,850, maybe a spike to 2,800. But if the market is strong enough, we could just take out these lows and just test basically 2,900. But this is what we are looking for over the next couple of months, for price to eventually get a test of these levels. I would say the probability of going lower than that right now does seem to be lower, and once we do end up getting here, we will reanalyze. But for now, it looks like this is a decent potential, and this is what we will be looking for this week, and building positions to manage risk accordingly. Here's silver on the monthly. We're close to the end of the month, so still quite a valid reason to look at this candle, but it's a 30% month, and I think it is possible that we have not had a 30% month in silver, at least on the chart that I am looking at it may be a probability that this is very rare. Possibly this blow off candle. Yeah, this is a 35% month, but outside of that I can't see a 30% month outside of that. So this is very impulsive. It's so significant. Again, a lot like Bitcoin's big base. Of course, time frames are totally different. This is a 6-year base on silver that we have broken up from. Since 2016 we have been basing here, and we have broken up from a 6-year base. So significant. We have a level right here. So just getting an alert on silver as we speak, getting a bit of a reaction from these highs up here. Beyond that, we have the 26 level, the $26 level. So essentially these are the key levels on silver right now. But for now, this has really ended up making a big move. So do be aware of that. The trend is still strong. I don't think you have any reason to not be in. We have spoken about this, and we've been tracking this since quite a long time. Sorry. So looking at it on the daily, it's absolutely parabolic. There's no structure. What I would say is that once the dollar does end up moving, either it's when silver is right here, or once silver moves slightly higher. But once the dollar starts moving, we may have a few days of a correction where, silver may not correct so strongly, but would at least start building another structure to base the next move off of. Because for now, just look at this. We had a very small base, but this was a significant base, and we just moved out of it as soon as we broke 19.5. And this is where I had alerted everyone in the Discord that once we break this, price is going to get very impulsive. And you can see we basically just absolutely smashed out of there. We made a 25% move. Essentially a week. Possibly this must be the bullish week on silver ever. So it is in that phase. But if this is truly bullish, then once the dollar ends up moving, rather than dumping hard, this should start to consolidate and build another base. If you're not in it now, this is pretty steep, guys, and it is difficult for me to recommend on any kind of reasonable time frame to be trading this and going long now, apart from possibly a 5-minute where you could see lower time frame structures or use a moving average strategy to ride the trend. But otherwise, for a swing trade, I think this is already done and you need to wait for it to build another structure. Just wanted to show you how parabolic commodities are and what the game plan should be, what we should be looking for the higher time frame to deal with this price action. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with someone else. And if you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you or answer them in my next video. For more trading content and education, go ahead and click on the video on your right. Thanks for watching, guys, and cheers!